This story contains harsh language and adult situations. Discretion is advised. Good and evil. Two concepts that are diametrically opposed, like hot and cold, up and down. But are they really so different? Could one exist without the other? What would happen if the personifications of these concepts agreed to work together? I'm D.L. Strand. Welcome to Storyteller's Pub, where we've always got something dark on tap. Now sit back and relax while I present to you The Deal. In the middle of a cold and raging ocean, on an island bereft of green, deep in a dark and twisting cave, far from the light of men and God, cowered the beast. He'd tucked himself into a niche where the moisture dripped incessantly on his horned head, then dripped down his face like tears. He clutched his tail between his taloned hands and wrung it as one would a towel, worrying the unfeeling flesh worn raw by the rough pads of his palms. His stomach gurgled loudly. How long had it been since he'd eaten? 200-300 years? He'd lost count. The flesh hung loosely from his once imperious form. His belly, formerly full and round like an expectant mother's, now hung gaunt and wan and impotent. Folds of his skin, stretched by his former size, drooped down to hide his disinterested staff. Down here, the only sound that could penetrate was the regular pounding of the surf against his tiny island. It beat with the regularity of a clock, ticking off the minutes and days and months and years. He dozed, dreaming of happier times, when men and women cavorted in grassy meadows among the trees. They'd build huge fires in which to cook their offerings, and the perfume of sizzling meat would bring him forth so they could worship him. Those had been good times, the best. He'd performed feats of incomparable evil, whipped up terrible torments, cursed men with blindness, withered cattle so a town would starve, invented diseases to cull the weak and powerful alike, accepted the blood of virgins and that of the babies he'd fathered. He'd bathed in the fear of his magnificent evil and had a wonderful time. But that was before. Now he hid in his rocky hole in the ground. The clock stopped. The rhythm to which he'd timed his breath and the beating of his heart, the endless pounding of the waves with which he counted the years, paused. They hadn't slowed down or dimmed, hadn't run out of power like a battery sucked dry. They simply ceased. His heart, its beating out on display by the absence of the sound of the sea, tripled its pace. He pushed his emaciated form deeper into his crevice, tried to make himself one with the damp rock. He let go his limp tail and covered his head with his long, scaled arms.
Lucifer?
A great, booming baritone voice echoed in his chamber. The devil whimpered in response and hunkered lower, his knees drawn tight against his sunken chest.
You know you can't hide from me. Why do you try?
The voice filled the little chamber, bouncing off the walls so they assaulted the demon's ears with the same words over and over.
Go away!
He shrieked. His lip trembled. Spittle pooled from the corner of his mouth. A white light filled the cavern, blinding, so bright it seemed to have sound and substance. It grew brighter, and he cried out in pain. He squeezed his eyes shut, but it burned through. Then, as if someone had turned off the gas, it quickly subsided, leaving a soft glow in its wake. The devil blinked, trying to see through the afterimage burned into his eyes.
You blinded me.
He cried out.
Oh, sorry,
Said the great voice. The glowing figure gestured, and the vision cleared. The devil squinted from his niche and watched as the luminescent figure sat upon a simple chair that suddenly appeared beneath him.
we need to talk.
The booming voice bounded over and over again through the cave, assaulting the devil's pointed ears. He cried out again. God grimaced, then began in a softer tone, still full of wisdom and depth and authority, but just less overpowering.
Sorry, I've been addressing the masses for so long.
Okay, inside voice. He took a deep breath, full of pity. What troubles you, my friend? Why do you cringe at the sight of me? Lucifer's arms relaxed a little and dropped hesitantly from his head. He resumed his previous position, squatting in the corner, kneading his tail like dough.
You look awful.
Here. A soft light flashed in front of the devil, and when it subsided, there was a large silver plate and goblet. On the plate sat a virgin's heart, cooked perfectly, the edges crispy, the inside still pink, the goblet filled with baby's blood. The food called out to him with its sweet aroma, but still he cringed.
You have to eat something. I've made it just the way you like, simmered in mother's tears. The wine is a special vintage.
1347, June.
The Black Plague. There was some inspired work. You were really on your game back then.
God said, his manner friendly as he spoke to his old nemesis. The devil's mouth watered, but still he held back. Please, friend, tell me what bothers you. Lucifer's voice, small with fear and withered from so many years unused, responded weakly.
You know everything.
True,
He said easily with a light chuckle. But it would be nice to talk. I miss our talks. The smell of the food permeated his nostrils. Drool slavered down his chin and dangled in midair. His stomach roared in his ears and clenched. Please, my friend, tell me what troubles you. The words shot out of his mouth like bats from a cave at twilight.
They hate me.
Who hates you?
The Lord asked, his voice patient and free of judgment.
Everyone. People. All people. They curse me. Call me names. Reviled one. Outcast. Unclean one. Not fair. They hate me.
Oh, that's not altogether true. There are some.
No, it's true. They make the sign of the cross when my name is mentioned. Do you know how much that hurts? They blame me for everything.
Well, you were quite the scamp.
Not for years, centuries. They blame me for the Inquisition. That wasn't me. It was you. Why don't they like me?
God sighed. He hated to see his friend in pain.
Well, you haven't been around to show them the truth, have you?
If you could just go out among them.
No!
Screamed the demon, his eyes glowing with fear.
I'm never going out again. I hate them. Hate them!
Overtaxed by his outbursts, he panted against the wall, his eyes returning again and again to the offering laid out before him. God saw his desire.
Here, you're no animal.
The food winked out, then reappeared on an ornate oak table. On either side was added a linen napkin and silverware, which glittered in the blessed light of the Lord.
Please, my friend,
intoned God. Eat. The devil couldn't stand it any longer, and eschewing the silverware, took up the heart in both hands, ripping a great section out with his jagged teeth. Then he gulped down the blood in one swallow. When the food was gone, he lifted the plate from the table and cleaned it with his long, serpentine tongue. Then he set it down and sucked the last of the juices from his claws. The plate vanished. In its place appeared a silver decanter.
More wine?
The Lord said jovially. It gladdened his heart to see his friend again. The vessel rose from the table of its own volition, refilled the goblet, then replaced itself. The devil, feeling better than he had in 100 years, raised the drink to his snout and inhaled. In his mind, he heard the wailing of mothers and supplications of those stricken by sickness, begging to be spared, appealing for mercy or death. It was a fine vintage indeed. He emptied the cup again and set it down, then wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and belched. He patted his shrunken stomach and heaved a great breath and exhaled. He felt good. God sensed the time was right. He crossed his arms before him. Pipes appeared in their hands, and the room filled with the scent of mustard gas. He sucked on his pipe, then exhaled a great cloud of smoke. Lightning played at the edges, and thunder rumbled softly.
It's good to see you, my dear friend.
The devil inhaled as well, and blew out smoke which floated to the ground, becoming a fetid goop that slithered to the recesses of the cave. It had been millennia since the two had shared a pipe, or a drink, or conversation.
Oh, but I've missed you, said God.
His face beamed with true affection. The devil disappeared with the table, then reappeared next to him, sitting upon a great carved throne. Satan worked his red cheeks into the soft cushion.
Nice.
It's from IKEA.
Where's that?
It's not important. I should get to the point. I need your help.
You? But you can do anything. Everything. From the sound of things, it's a regular mess out there. How could I possibly help you?
The Lord took another drag from his pipe. This time when he exhaled, instead of a cloud, the chamber filled with the song of chanting monks intoning softly.
Honestly, it's no fun. Oh, sure, I can bring disasters and misery aplenty, but I don't have your...
He searched for the word.
Panache?
I was going to say enthusiasm.
Well, you are a little heavy-handed. What do you have against the Jews, anyway?
Lucifer exhaled, and this time the smoke took on the shape of a small mushroom cloud. A great flash burned their shadows into the rock behind them.
The Jews? Nothing. They're my people.
The devil chuckled.
That's how you treat your people? Oh, God. Beg your pardon, but 6 million?
Oh, that wasn't me. Some half-rate painter got a taste of authority and got carried away.
And that Trump fellow?
Again, not me. That one's a long story.
I bet. You know, they blame me for all that.
Trump? Nonsense. His followers think I chose him.
They both laughed. Then the devil continued.
No, the other side. They think he's the you.
The Lord nodded.
Yeah, they do, he said with a sigh.
So then, global warming, plastic floating in the ocean, the massive comet headed for the planet. You?
Me?
Satan took a mighty breath and exhaled fire from his nostrils.
Impressive, to be sure, but so...
Too much?
Overwhelming, cataclysmic. You've got to leave room for hope. Let them think there's a chance to fix things.
You mean before making it worse?
Or letting them win one once in a while. If you keep beating them down, they'll give up, or worse, turn on you.
Excited, God jumped from his chair, his robes billowing around him in the sacred breeze created by his movement.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got a feel for these things. A real gift. It's that subtlety I just haven't got.
Satan adjusted himself in his throne, again working the cushions with his unholy buttocks.
But you could.
Oh, of course I could, but where's the fun in that? Come on back. I need you. The world needs you. What do you say? It'll be like old times.
Old times?
The devil considered, remembering their competitions with relish.
I thought I was the one who tempted.
So you'll do it? You'll come back?
There will have to be some assurances. You've got to set them straight about,
Done.
And I want followers, worshippers. I'll be working overtime, so I won't have time to hunt my own food.
Of course.
Anything else?
I want Hawaii. There's a little volcano, Mauna Loa, with a stunning view of the ocean.
How about Iceland?
What? The one no one can pronounce? Please.
Fine. You can have Hawaii.
Do we have a deal? Lucifer stood in his fullness, his horns burning grooves in the cave's ceiling, his pipe transformed into a great staff wreathed in fire. It emitted the scent of brimstone. A cloak billowed from his shoulders to the floor. He held his hand out to the Lord. He smiled wickedly.
It's a deal.
God took it and winced as his hand sizzled in the Dark One's grip.
Splendid. Oh, but this is going to be fun.
He thanked his old friend and they embraced. Then he disappeared to the sound of heavenly trumpets. The devil's eyes burned bright with enthusiasm. He clutched the staff in both hands.
This will be fun. Indeed.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please subscribe and share it with someone you know who loves horror, paranormal thrillers, and things that scratch on your door in the dead of night. You can contact me anytime through my website, storytellerspub.com. The Deal was written and performed by D.L. Strand. The Storytellers Pub podcast is a production of Storytellers Publishing. I'm D.L. Strand. Thank you for joining us here at the pub. Please come again.